All right, my friends, let's debunk some inflation fallacies and some inflation myths, shall we? I don't know what the need is to fear hyperinflation. It's the weirdest thing, man. Hyperinflation, and we've never had it in the United States ever. We've never had hyperinflation. We had high inflation again from the 70s, and we've talked many times about what caused that, but we haven't had hyperinflation. Doesn't mean we can't. No, we don't. Doesn't mean we can't. Doesn't mean the Bolsheviks can't take over. Not just because nothing happened in the past doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. But this idea of hyperinflation is just people have been talking about this for eons. So I want to look at some of my comments about this is a video I did. I forgot what the video was called. What was the video I did? It was called, hold on just a second. Everyone is wrong about inflation, and here's the proof. So we're going to debunk some of the comments here, but I'll share. Well, I'm not going to get too deep in this because this will bore us all. But you can read these yourself. Hi, buddy. A couple I want to debunk here. All right. So Robert says it might be short-term inflation, but my costs of raw materials are up 30% over 2 years. Okay. The problem is what they measure and what matters are two different things. Materials are going through the roof. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. But there's something else I want to say here too. Hold on a second. Simply put, gas, diesel prices rise significantly this summer. Consumer prices will rise, causing inflation. Okay. Let's look at this. All right, I want to show you guys one thing. Here we go. Bank of America and Warren Buffett are saying inflation is running rampant. I didn't say inflation won't run rampant for a short term, but it's a short term dilemma as opposed to long term hyperinflation. My man Sophia, or my lady Sophia says, don't forget consumer debt reduces disposable income. Could not agree more. That continuously keeps inflation in check, 100%. But there's another one right here. Hold on a second. I'll find it. Makes a good point. Inflation is caused by an increase in demand that outpaces supply. If 2 trillion money is added to the economy, but no one spends it, inflation does not occur. And as Ron says, blah, 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 if the 2 million money has to find a home, so that means it's not inflation in goods and services and it has to go into assets, stock, but okay. Anyway, so I said, so the guy's saying there will be inflation. I didn't say there won't be any short-term inflation or there'll never be inflation. What I'm saying is the idea of hyperinflation is silly. All right, let's see. Maybe the population growth drives inflation. Exactly, because I just posted a video I posted a thing today in my community tab. If you're not following my community tab on my YouTube channel, I post a lot of stuff. I probably post 10 things a day on there, just things that are of interest that I see throughout the day. And we had, and I'll share with you what I just posted actually. We had a significant drop in childbirths let's see, hold on a second. We had, you can see I don't have my reading glasses on. We had right there, U.S. birth rate has dropped again. The pandemic may be accelerating the data. The birth rate declined by 4% in 2020, and births were down sharply in December. All right. Let's keep going. I want to show you guys something. Hold a sec. And here's Sylvan, DB. He's normally, he's not wrong here. He just missed the point. And I like Sylvan. He and I don't agree on everything, which is fine. Imagine that. We don't agree. Given your interpretation, then how do you explain that over 90% loss in purchasing power of the dollar over 100 years? Okay. How do you explain the 90% loss of purchasing power over 100 years? All right, so this is the fallacy. 90% loss of purchasing power. Is that actually true? Yes, from a pure dollar perspective. But let's just take a gander, shall we? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at appliances. Remember, he said 90% loss of purchasing power. So here's appliances going back to 1997. The average inflation rate on appliances is negative 0.8% a year. Everyone has a fridge. Everyone has a range. Everyone has an oven. That's a big expense, man. That's a durable expense. That's a big one. And yet the price is down for, what's that, freaking 30 years, something like that, 25 years? Interesting, huh? So let's just go back to that. If an appliance cost $1,000 in 1997, how much does it cost today? It costs $825 today. And guess what? It's a hell of a lot more efficient. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Come on. They got these Energy Star things now. They're more efficient. Stop. So you're paying less for the electricity to run those things. All right, so let's keep going. So yes, the purchasing, the value of your dollar has declined, but the product level in a lot of these things have gone up, man. Let's look at. I want to look at actually what I want to look at. Let's just look at bread, shall we? From 1997. Let's say a loaf of bread cost $5 in 1997. How much does it cost today? It costs $9.57 today. All right, so it's gone up 2.74% a year since 1997. All right, so if you had all your money in cash, you probably kept up with that until the last 10, 15 years or so. So if you just had Ginnie Mae, if you just had Wellesley, you more than kept up with that for sure. So that's not significant. But I want to show you something else, a big one. This is what everyone says. This is funny. I want to go to hold on a second. 1977, vehicle parts and other equipment have gone up 1.89% a year. So what cost $20 in 1977 costs $45.66 today. All right, that's yes, the value of the dollar has declined, but is that hyperinflation? No, the Fed wants that. That's their target rate. And don't forget, that was started in 1977. We had a huge inflation for the next 6 years, even for the next 13 years, by the way. So if we go to 1990, this is why this whole thing just, it's like the dollar's declined by 2% a year over 90 years. Like, wow. So it cost $20 in 1990, costs 31 today. I'm sorry. I don't get this whole thing. Oh my goodness. I was hoping to find vehicles, but I can't find them. Hold on a second. Let's see. Utility and public transportation has gone up 3.46% since 1957. Oh my goodness! Just come on, man. Jeez Louise and blue cheese. All right, let's just go back to utilities. I think it was piped gas service from 1935. It's gone up 3% a year since 1935. I mean, this is not. I don't understand this need for huge. You think the debt? Oh, used cars and trucks. There we go. Let's take a look at this. Used cars and trucks have averaged 2.45% a year since 1952. But here's the funny thing that people overlook. All right, so let's go back to this because this is what people overlook. 2.4. So if you bought a car, we'll just say for $5,000 in 1952, you'd pay the equivalent of that car $26,000 today. All right. What is the difference in that car in 1952 and that car today? You want to take a guess? A, it's a hell of a lot safer. It's a lot more efficient. It has so many more amenities. I just stop this thing. They made them better back then. In terms of a car, you know what used to happen to a car because they're all made of steel, that you were hurt in the accident. Now they total them because there's a lot of the collapsing parts, the plastics and stuff like that. So now a lot more people survive a car crash than they used to because back then you would die because a car would survive and you'd die. Now it's a car dies and you survive. Yeah, and then you got backup cameras. You got just stop this idea that oh my goodness, a car now is worth what was that? The price of a car has gone up 432% since 1952. Yeah, and you get a hell of a lot more efficient car and a safer car too. So that's a fact. It just drives me up the wall. It drives me up the wall. Let's see. Oh, wireless telephone service going back to 1997. It's gone down 3% a year. Everyone's got a phone. So what else can we do? I'm not going to do whiskey. We can do veterinarian services. Let's take a look at that's probably good. Yeah, it's gone up 4.5%. That doesn't shock me. So that's health care for your dogs. Still 4.5%. Wow. We're all gonna die. Jeez Louise. Let's see what else we got. Hold on a second. This is a big one right here. Tuition has gone up 6.1% a year. You know why? Because the government's getting their freaking fat hands involved. But of course, those days are coming to an end. We all know the college is a scam. Is making the wealthy is that reverse Robin Hood. The wealthy are being subsidized by the poor and ignorant. Frankly, let's go. Transportation as a whole. 3.18% since 1935. I mean, this isn't tools, hardware, and supplies. Let's go. Tools have gone up basically flat 20 years. If you bought say you bought a freaking, and I can only imagine like the impact driver, the DeWalt impact driver I have right now that I just bought 3 years ago. What the version of that I could have bought in 1997. I can almost guarantee you this impact driver, a cordless impact driver, is a hell of a lot better than it was in 1997. And yet, if I bought it for 1997 for $20, I paid $20.38 today. Let's see. Tomato. Well, just look at tomatoes. That's food, right? Tomatoes gone up $20 of tomatoes cost $228 today from 1953. So let's just look at the last. We'll look at the last since 1990. What's that? 31 years. It's doubled. $20 in tomatoes in 1990 cost $43.50. This whole thing, it drives me up the wall. But we're taking on so much debt. Yeah, okay. Technical business school tuition fees. Interesting. So this has gone up 4% a year. Right? Again, that's well within the wheelhouse that you can afford. Tampa. Let's see what Tampa. The price of Tampa, according to US BLS, prices in Tampa, Florida were 2.6% a year on average from 1987 till today. So if it costs you $20 in Tampa in 1987, it costs you $46.77. Well, but they're measuring it incorrectly. Well, I mean, we got sports vehicles, including bikes. I don't want to do that. We got real data here, man. Real live data. But they're not measuring housing. They're not measuring food. They're literally measuring. They literally are. They're not. I mean, that's the thing. They literally are measuring it. Seattle, Washington, from 1914 till today, it's averaged 3.26 per year. Just not. I'm sorry. This San Diego is probably much higher than that, I would think. But who wants to live in San Diego? It's California. If that's only 3.76 going back to 1984. Rice, 1997, is averaged 2% a year. Rental, video disc, other media, nothing. It's a rental for video disc and other media. So they're saying other media. It's gone up by 1.38% a year. Oh, don't forget, you can rent movies on your phone. You don't have to own them. You can buy songs for 99 cents without buying the whole damn album for $10.99. You see what I'm saying? Oh, but that's the price of dollars gone down. Yeah, but you have more abundance in the stuff you can buy. That's the fallacy, man. It's just these hyperinflation people. I don't get why they need to have this fear porn. It's all it is. Fear porn. Show me where there's hyperinflation. Because the government printed Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Germany, and the government's been taking on debt as far as the eye can see, not just the U.S. government, worldwide, and yet there is no hyperinflation. And with a declining population, an older society, is not coming, man. I'm sorry. It's just not there. So stop. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed when people keep saying this. And while my man Sylvan is right, we had do I still have it up there? We have had a 2% decline in purchasing power. The stuff we can purchase is a hell of a lot better. And I know a lot of people say the housings too, like they don't make the houses like they did anymore. You ever heard of insulation? Huh? You ever heard of double pane windows? Yeah, I mean, the housing in terms of the tightness, the ability to maintain heat in the winter and cool in the summertime without just freaking air conditioning the outside is just nuts compared to what it used to be. Never mind, we still have air conditioning now. Back then, there's a lot of places that I didn't have air conditioning growing up. And we had a furnace. It wasn't natural gas. We had to get, I'm not sure how they got it, oil or propane piped in. I can't remember. But it's a whole different ball game. You are living better now than you did back then, even though we've had a 2% decline of the price of goods, or price of dollars each and every year going back to 9 years. Wow. Anyway, so love to hear your comments. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop with this whole hyperinflation thing. It's nuts. There's no evidence of that. The government's printing money. Wake me up when the government hasn't printed money, man. Just go back to the 80s and see what David Stockman is writing about Reagan. Just, it's nuts. I will see you.